Okay, so Roger, first of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me to interview you. And I understand that you are a master at helping credit repair companies obtain merchant accounts. Is that true, Roger?
That is true. Thank you. Well, also thank you, Mark, for giving me this opportunity to speak with you. Yeah, what we do is we've been providing merchant accounts for over 5 years, close to 6 years now, for what's considered harder to place industries, of which credit repair is one of the top in that area. Don't ask me why, but that's how it's considered. So basically what we do is we are a company that specializes in those types of businesses, with credit repair being one of our top. So we're able to get probably 99% of our people approved for merchant accounts so they can accept credit cards for their credit repair business.
And so do you process for other companies, other services industries, or just credit repair companies?
Oh no, as I said a minute ago, we specialize in the harder to place, which is a lot of different types of industries are considered hard to place or high risk. So that's our specialty. We work with specific banks that have an appetite for those types of businesses. Again, we not only credit repair, but we work with basically anything that the conventional bank, any type of business that a conventional bank, such as B of A or iPayment or First Data, any of those types of companies will not underwrite high-risk business. We work with banks that have a large appetite for that type of business.
So, Roger, there's a lot of newbies that's starting out in the credit repair industry, and because that's the industry that I'm in, and there's a lot of newbies that's starting out, and a lot of them, they don't know about merchant accounts. I mean, they know about it, but they don't really know about it because this is their first time. So can you just tell me what a merchant account is exactly?
Yeah, a merchant account is really just in a nutshell, it's the ability for a merchant to be able to accept credit cards for their business and, in essence, have the money deposited in their account within 24 to 48 hours after the transaction takes place. In order to conduct business with credit cards, the account must have a merchant account.
Right, yeah. We have a merchant account. We've had a merchant account for a long time. And from your experience, we hear, in my Facebook group, Startup Credit Repair Business Training Center over at Facebook, we get a lot of questions about merchant accounts. We also get a lot of questions about bank drafts, check drafts. So why would it be important to have a merchant account when we can just do bank drafts?
Because what you'll find is a large portion of your people will want to use a credit card, so they don't have to use ready on hand cash. So you will find in many cases that people will sign up with you or will take your business if they can pay with a credit card rather than using a check. So we find that, as a matter of fact, credit cards will normally add anywhere from 30 to 45% to your bottom line as far as the amount of business that you'll conduct.
Yeah, well, we process customers from our credit repair company, and I've never once used a check. I never once used a check where, you have a check writing software where you get their routing number and account number, and then you deposit the check into the bank. I never once did that because, Roger, everyone who has a checking account, 9 times out of 10 have a debit card, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, and those debit cards always have Visa and MasterCard logos on them, so they're really considered credit cards. It's kind of a credit debit card is what it is.
Right. So that's why I don't even promote the check writing thing. Some people do ask about that. But I don't really promote it because I don't really see any need unless you just don't want a merchant account, because you have to it's just crazy not to have one. So let me ask you a question. How many credit repair companies would you say that you process a month?
I would say we probably new businesses are you talking about? That we set up? I would say we probably set up about 30 to 40 new businesses a month. We probably have, I would say, about 1,800 from the last 15, 18 months that we've set up.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a big business out there. And I would say a majority of the people are making some money on them too. So it's not that they're just opening up accounts and trying their business. If you work the business like any other business, it's going to make money, and and you being able to use a credit card is going to increase the business because people will be able to to have the credit card. What I was going to also say, what you're going to when going back to the other question. A lot of times people want to use a credit card because they get rewards, which is another reason that they use it. They end up, getting cash back or money towards trips or fly airlines. So it does definitely enhance the business, and it will enhance the ability to make more money.
Well, that's good. That's good. One of the things that, what I'm pretty much doing is I'm pulling some questions that I see on a daily basis in my group. A lot of people ask about merchant accounts. And even my customers, the client dispute manager software. And another question that they posed is what kind of services do you guys offer that comes along with you have the merchant account, but what other services are associated with that? Is there anything else? Like a terminal, a swipe machine, or anything like that?
There's two ways that you can accept credit cards. In the credit repair industry, unless you've got a retail location, unless you've got an office where at least 80 to 90% of your people come in and you're actually able to see the person face to face, that's the only time that you would really use a hard terminal. Or what you use for your particular industry, the credit repair industry, is what's called a virtual terminal. And what that is it's a website that you're given through a gateway, and I'll explain the gateway, which is really the middleman. And what you're able to do is set up the gateway so that you just sign into that particular URL that you're given, and you then type in all the person's information. So if you're taking an order over the phone, or if even if the person is in your office, or they're sending it to you by email, as long as you have all their information, you then just sign into that site, and you type everything in, you hit the enter button, and within a second, it'll either be accepted or declined, and the transaction will go through.
Okay. And within your service, your bundle of services, do you offer ACH, check drafting?
Well, we don't. What we do is we do a check draft. We have a program called Check by Phone Pro, and what that will do is that the person can do the same thing. They're going to be getting a virtual terminal where they can type in all the information for the check, hit the enter button, and it goes to the back office of Check by Phone Pro. And a check is actually printed up and delivered to the bank, so it goes into the bank, depending on the bank you're dealing with, within 24 to 72 hours.
Right. That's it. Okay. Do you recommend that or no? Just.
It's an add-on. In other words, some people want to use it, some people don't want to use it. It just depends. It depends on the type of clientele, clientele that you're dealing with. If they have an interest in it, it's just another option for people to have so that they can get as much or as many payments as they can through the system.
Okay, so Roger, say I'm a new customer, just starting my credit repair business. I want to process. I'm getting everything set up. I heard about Mark Claiborne's merchant account partner. I went to his website. I filled out the form there, and I submitted it to you guys. Okay. Mm-hmm. Can you walk me through the process of what it takes to get a merchant account?
Sure. Okay, it's very, very simple. A lot of people think it's a complicated system, but it really is not. The first thing that we do is we have a an application from the underwriting bank. We fill out the application. We then send the application signed into the bank. And we need a few other items to get the application actually completed. We need a copy of a driver's license. If the business is an LLC or a corporation, we need the articles of incorporation. We need, of course, a voided check, which is probably the most important thing, so we know where to put your money. Fourth, we need a website and or marketing materials so that the bank or the underwriter can actually see what you're doing and how it works. And lastly, we need 3 months of bank statements, and those can be either personal or business. If it's a brand new business, they will look at 3 months of bank statements. The purpose for the bank statements is twofold. The first is to see if the person has done any processing before through another bank. And the second thing is they just want to make sure that you don't have a consistent negative balance. In other words, they don't care what's in the bank, but they don't want to see minus $212 at the end of each month for the last 90 days.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. Once we have all those items and we have the application at the bank, it normally takes 3 to 5 days for the application to go through and for the acceptance of the account.
Okay, got it. And what are some of the reasons for denial?
Denial, well, let's see. I would say, as I said, we do probably 95 to 99% of our credit repair people. Credit is a small portion of the application process when they look at it. We work with lower credit. That's normally not a problem. If the credit though is extremely bad, and they're showing negatives in the bank statements, sometimes it will get declined. But as I said, I've been in this business for about 11 years, and I have not seen too many businesses that were not able, too many credit repair businesses, I should say, that were not able to underwrite. So really, the biggest thing is as long as the person has any credit, you can't have an open bankruptcy. That's pretty much the only thing. As long as you've got any credit and you've got a bank account that doesn't show negative balances for three straight months, there should never be a problem getting the account done.
And what are we talking about as far as credit score? That's another question that's always presented to me.
I mean, I've seen accounts under 500 that have been approved.
Okay, so you don't need a 650.
You don't need a 650. I mean, the difference. The way I guess we should really go back to a merchant account itself. A merchant account is really considered a line of credit from Visa, MasterCard, and the banks. The reason is they're paying you within 24 to 48 hours. The banks don't get paid. The underwriters don't get paid through Visa, MasterCard for much more, a much longer time than that. So what they're really doing is the bank is taking the risk on the transaction. So what they're looking at credit-wise, again, we go back to the credit part. If you have really, really poor credit and no money in the bank's not really going to want to give you a large line of credit. They may want to start you, if they are going to underwrite the account, they may want to start you at $5,000 a month or something to that effect. Normally, a normal credit repair business can normally be started through the bank with no processing history or, a brand new business. They'll usually start anywhere between $10,000 a month and about $40,000, somewhere in that range. And that's really for the first 60 to 90 days. The bank is using it. They want to get to know you. You want to get to know the bank. They want to understand your business. They want to make sure that you don't get a lot of chargebacks where people just call up and call the bank and charge back the card. So basically, it's kind of like an introductory period the first couple of months. Once you show that you have clean processing, no problems with the chargebacks, people canceling the accounts and canceling the business and so on, at that point we go in with the bank and we review, and we can actually get the account and the volume increased. So normally they'll look at it about every 90 days or so to get the volume increased. Just to go back to people that we have processing with us, we have credit repair people that are doing anywhere between $5,000 a month and I'd say the largest credit repair business that we have that we're working with right now is probably doing about $225,000 a month.
Okay, and processing.
That's just credit card processing. I don't know what they're doing, checks and so on and so forth. But I would say we range between around 500, about 225, 250,000. Those are that's really the gamut as far as what we do and what we've seen and what I've seen in the processing.
Absolutely. That's very good. So, Roger, listen, I have a few more questions for you. But when should credit repair companies actually apply for a merchant account? Like they're starting their credit repair business. What do you recommend? When should they apply? Should they apply later on after they learn the credit repair business, or should they apply right away, or should they wait till they get customers? What's your thought on that?
Well, to wait until you get customers could hurt you because you want to take the payments. As I said before, it normally takes about 3 to 5 days to get figure a week to get the account approved. So if a person knows they're going to be doing some business a week or 2 weeks down the road, they're just starting, they should get the account as soon as possible. They will need, though, either a working website or marketing materials, in other words, brochures or flyers, to get the final approval for the account. So the website is probably one of the most important things, or the marketing material is one of the most important things that the underwriters look at. So in essence, if you're looking to start the business, in order to get the merchant account, you do need to have either a working website or brochures or flyers or something like that that'll explain the business with your business name and contact information on it.
Right. Should everything match across the board? Should you be an LLC or can you be a sole proprietor?
You can do either one, and you can always upgrade to another. In other words, a business, if you think down the road you're going to be an LLC, but you really want to get started, you start as a sole proprietor, and then at any point in time you can switch it into an LLC. We just update the account.
Okay, good. And lastly, just 2 more questions. This is one of the biggest questions I always get all the time, and that is startup fees, startup costs from you guys, rates, transaction rates, fees, monthly fees, gateway fees.
Oh, sure.
Get that a lot.
Absolutely. Now, going back to one of my original statements, credit repair is considered one of the hardest of the harder to place industries. As I said, don't ask me why, but that's how the banks look at them. There are very few banks in the country, underwriting banks, that will underwrite credit repair. There's really only 1 or 2 of any significance that will take the accounts. None of the conventional banks will do credit repair. So the banks that do it, because of the risk factor, the minimum rate that we charge, or the banks charge, is 3.95% of each transaction. And what that means is, let's say you had a $100 sale. The bank, Visa, MasterCard, is going to take $3.95 right off the top. So the difference, $96.05, gets wired into your account within 24 to 48 hours. There is also a 25-cent transaction fee. So at the end of the month, they will total up the number of transactions that you had. So let's say you had 10 sales that month. They're going to multiply 10 times 25 cents, so you'll have an additional $2.50 taken out. As far as the straight monthly fees, they normally run about $50, and that includes the gateway, which is the secured gateway. We'll get over. I'll go through that in a minute. The gateway fees, the maintenance of the account fee. Pretty much all of the smaller fees that Visa, MasterCard tack on is going to come in to about $50 a month. So you've got to have in your mind that a merchant account for the credit repair industry is going to run you approximately $50 for each month.
Right, which is not a whole lot of money, man, in this business. Okay.
No, not at all. No. And what we do for the people that come through Mark is we waive all startup fees for you. So it basically costs you absolutely nothing to get going and to get the merchant account set up for you.
So say, for example, they don't come through me. They find your company online somewhere. What would be the normal setup fees if they did not come?
The normal setup fees are normally the setup and startup fees run normally around $150 a month. So right off the bat, you guys, your people are saving at least $150.
Right. Well, yeah, that's very important. So, guys, you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Make sure you always use the secured link below the video every time you are applying for this merchant account, so you can save money right from the get-go. Roger, lastly, I wanted to say is that one more thing. Reserves. I hear that a lot.
Ah,
Reserves.
very good. Well. The two things. Let's go back to gateway. The gateway itself. In order to have a merchant account, you've got to go through a gateway. We provide the gateway. Okay. The gateway is basically just a middleman. It's the money goes from the virtual terminal. In other words, the process is this: you type in everything to the virtual terminal. The virtual terminal then you hit enter. The transaction goes through. It then goes through the gateway, which is kind of the middleman. The middleman then just pushes it to the bank. So every merchant account has to go through a gateway. Okay, and again, we provide that gateway for you. What was the second question? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the reserves.
Oh, and the reserves happen many times in this particular industry. What a reserve is, it's the underwriting bank will hold back a percentage of each transaction. Usually it's around 10% for a minimum of 6 months. And these are called rolling reserves. So what happens is after 6 months, normally in the 7th month, they will start giving you back your funds from the beginning. So in other words, if you processed today, in the 7th month, you would get back the reserve, that 10% that they're holding. It's still your money. It's in what's called a side account. And every month when you get your statement, you'll see what's in the reserve. And the reason that they do reserves is that on higher risk or harder to place industries, many of those do go out of business or do have problems. Not saying that any of your people are, and the merchant has 6 months to charge back a credit card. So therefore, the bank will hold those funds, hold that 10% for 6 months. So once that 6 months is gone, all those people from that first month cannot charge back the card. So that's why the bank will start releasing the funds. And getting back to these businesses that do go out of business or do have problems, God forbid you do go out of business after 2 or 3 months. You've got a number of clients that you did have. All of a sudden they can't reach you anymore. Your bank account is closed. They start charging the cards back. And what happens? The bank's got nowhere to go because your bank account's closed. So the bank has to pay out the money and they lose the money. So that is the reason for a reserve. And again, reserves, I would say reserves will happen 99% of the time with very poor credit. They will definitely do it. And then it just depends what the bank, when they look at all the criteria and everything, whether they decide that they want to give a reserve or they don't want to give a reserve. There's no real way that I can determine if the reserve is going to happen or if it's not. It has to do with all the underwriting and the underwriting procedures at the bank.
Well, I'm kind of glad you did go into detail with reserves because I didn't know that a customer only had 6 months to file a chargeback.
Oh yeah, that's something that most people don't understand. I mean, if you as a merchant, if you go and buy a television or you go and buy something and you're unhappy with it, or it breaks down and you're fighting and so on and so forth, you do have 6 months to charge back that card. You're going to have, you're going to fight it and so on, and the merchant, of course, you as a merchant are going to be able to fight the account. In other words, somebody may say they'll come back and they'll say, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and meanwhile you have proof through your emails back and forth with the customer that you've done all of that. Then the bank's not going to approve the chargeback. But many people will say anything they can. Even though you told them this and told them that, they're going to say you didn't say it, you didn't do that. So the bank is going to then refund the money. So it's always good to make sure when you're finishing your conversation with your customer that you say to them, if you're unhappy for any reason, please give me a call and we'll refund your money. Because if you don't do something like that, 2 or 3 or 4 months down the road, the person, especially if you're charging monthly fees, people don't understand the credit repair industry. Some of them, and we say this facetiously, but some of them think that they come to you with a 520 credit, and after 4 months they're at 560 or something like that, and they say, "Oh my God, I should have been at 700 already. This guy's just taking my money," and they turn around, they call the bank, and they charge back the card. So you've really got to be upfront with your people. They have to understand that it's going to take a longer period of time, but at any time, if they are unhappy, to call you first, so it doesn't come through as a chargeback.
That's good. I mean, that's some really great pointers there, Roger. I think a lot of people are going to learn some stuff here by just listening to this this audio that we're having right now. And lastly, Roger, I wanted to ask you this. You guys process a lot of people, and I wanted to know what are some of the struggles that you guys are seeing when new applicants are coming in, and some of the things that's happening, like, for example, they're not turning in their paperwork or they're not providing you stuff on the deadline. What kind of advice do you have there?
Just if you really want the merchant account, listen to the underwriter, listen to the person that you're going through. Hopefully you'll go through me, but or my company. I mean, that's really the most important thing. We're here to help you. And if we ask for, which I told you before, we're going to need a copy of a driver's license, articles of incorporation, voided checks, website, marketing materials, 3 months of processing. I'm sorry, 3 months of bank statements. And if you've done processing before, we need processing statements. But so as long as you provide whatever's needed from the underwriter, it'll get the approval will be much quicker. The problems that we have are people will start the process with us, and then we facetiously say in the business they disappear. And what that really means is we can't reach them for 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is, to get the additional information that we need over to the bank. And then all of a sudden they start calling us and they want to know how come their account wasn't approved. So you've really got to make sure that you go through all whatever is necessary, whatever is asked for, as quickly as possible, so that the account can get approved and that you can start making money as quick as possible.
Okay. Okay, great. So
does that answer the question?
Oh yeah, because
okay.
I mean, we not only do we want to know the requirements to get it, but we also want to know some of the stuff that you guys go through when customers say, "Oh yeah, I want this merchant account," and then you reach out to them and give them all the requirements that they need, and then they don't respond, they don't meet the deadlines, they don't provide the bank statements and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
I mean that's really if I had to say my toughest thing is making sure that everything comes back to me within a reasonable period of time. Once I get everything back, I have no problem with the bank. I have great relationships with the bank, so I talk to the underwriters directly. So that's one of the reasons that we get our accounts approved in a timely manner.
Okay, great. So here's the process. Anyone who's listening to this call today, here's the steps. So you watch this video, you understand, you make a decision that you're ready to get a merchant account. Roger has already delivered all the information. This is coming straight from him. And, he's been in the industry for a while. If you're ready to get this merchant account so you can process credit cards, then what you need to do is click the link below this video. When you click the link below the video, it's going to take you to my website. And it's going to be a secure page. It's going to ask you for some basic information. You're going to click submit. It's going to go into Roger's team, and then someone will contact you from Roger's company within 24 hours. Is it 24 hours, Roger, or 48 hours?
It's 20. To be real frank with you, it's probably less. If we get the information from you, we're normally contacting them within an hour.
Okay, all right. So I was just giving them some cushion.
Oh, no, I'm saying they will be contacted within 24 hours, depending on the time that we get the inquiry. But no, the point I'm making is that we try and get back to the person because we feel that they're very interested. If they're clicking that button for you, that they're interested in the account, we feel that we want to get them the account as quick as possible.
Okay, great. Is there any closing thoughts or tips before we jump off the phone?
No, again, it just goes back to if you're interested in the account, make sure that you are able to provide the items that we need. The biggest thing going back is that we will need either a working website or marketing materials before we can get the final approval. We can get everything in, we can get it so that it's at that last stage. In other words, it can sit there for a week or two if necessary, if that's what has to happen. But you want to get the account to that point. You don't want to wait for the site to get totally completed and so on, because then you're going to be looking at another 5 days or so. So, as soon as you decide that you are interested in a merchant account, you should go through the application and again and work on the website or the marketing materials at the same time, so you can provide those within a timely period.
Can they use landing pages, or does it have to be a full website?
No, they can use landing page. In other words, what the bank is looking for, what the underwriters are looking for, is what you do. They want to see what you do.
So can they use a Facebook fan page?
They can use a Facebook fan page, absolutely.
That's designed with their company information and what they do and that sort of thing?
Absolutely, they can do that. Most of the time, those customers that have Facebook pages will usually have a 1 or 2 page flyer also. So it really is a good thing to have a couple of some flyers and some additional marketing material, just so the bank is very comfortable with you, and even though they know you're a startup, they want to make sure that you're truly going to be into the business. You're just not wasting everybody's time, including your own.
Absolutely. All right, Roger, listen, I want to thank you for coming on, sharing your knowledge. A lot of people are going to hear this, and I hope, a lot of people learn from this. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you want to get that merchant account, click the link below this video and fill out the application. Like I said before, Roger's team will get in touch with you within 24 hours or within an hour or 48 hours.
Right.
Roger, thank you again, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, Mark, thank you very much again for the opportunity to speak with your people.
Okay, take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.